Welcome back to Go Gaddis Real Estate Radio right here on AM 920 The Answer. We're continuing our discussion that we left off at the end of segment 2 with Joe O'Kelley, who's the managing attorney of O'Kelley Sorohan, a real estate closing firm. They do other services as well all throughout Metro Atlanta. And so I'm impressed. When I first started working with them, they had about 17 offices or something like that. Now they're up to 30 offices in Metro Atlanta. And my guess is growing the number of offices over the last couple of years with sales coming down is not the easiest thing in the world to do. But Joe, thanks for sticking with us. In the last segment, we talked all about liens. And it started out because there is a builder in Georgia and South Carolina who has been selling properties recently that have liens in place. And so let's talk about the economic dynamics of the last couple of years that might have led to that. I'm guessing that if the builder has enough money to pay all their bills, they will pay all their bills, and sometimes they don't because they just don't have the money. But give me your thoughts on this. You keep up with all this stuff very closely.
Yeah, we heard this, the first, when it really starts happening early on, no one is quite aware. But the real estate community, the real estate lawyers, their radar's up, the examiners are out there, and they'll see something pretty early, but we're still not aware for the first few weeks.
Right.
And then word will pop up, title insurance companies will be asked questions, bulletins will go out, and then examiners will have their radar on.
Right.
So when you start hearing about that, then everybody will stop doing closings, without calling a title insurance company first. And then there may be situations, because the properties still have to close, even if there's going to be liens or something, they might have to be bonded off. So they might have to be paid off at the closing. I mean, in a different day, I remember there were 23 liens I had to pay off from a new builder closing back in, 2009 or something.
Oh, well, that makes sense when everything went. Yeah.
And so you're working through 23 payoffs, you're talking to 23 people. So anyway, that'll start showing up, and that's where you'll see the alarms. As you're progressing through that, everybody starts to know within the community, all the real estate attorneys, all the title insurance company bulletins will go out.
And it's, hey, if you're closing with this particular builder, then you need to be aware of these things. And I think that's really, really important. So, you have, let's say you have a builder, the builder's behind in payments, and let's just say they owe $50,000. If I would assume if the buyer is getting a mortgage, then you're going to have title insurance. You're going to have to at least have lender's title insurance. And are you saying that these liens are recorded in that gap that we talked about in the last, meaning, you do your title search 3 weeks before closing, you don't close till 3 weeks later, and you have these liens that are recorded? Or is it possible that people are buying some of these properties without getting any form of title insurance, lenders or owners, and those are the ones who are being surprised?
The ones that, the first few weeks of it,
okay,
is when they're getting that surprise.
Okay.
Once the awareness factor goes up, the community goes, okay,
yeah,
we're going to have to find out who's your list of vendors.
Yeah.
Because the home has to sell. It's not like you can run away from it.
Right.
So who's your list of vendors? Who's your roofer? Who are all your materialmen? And then you basically have to go through a contact and a list, and, everybody has to get paid. And so it could be anything. A builder gets too aggressive, has too many lots, they get behind, overestimate. You don't know. So I'm not trying to cast aspersions, but when you see it happening, you batten down the hatches and you sort of walk through step by step by step. And if a materialman was on lot 2 and it's lot 9 and you're not seeing that materialman, the roofer, you call the roofer and say, did you do lot 9? Yes. Did you get paid? Yes. Here's a lien waiver, sign it. And so it's just, it's brutal. It's one blow by blow by blow in a extreme situation. The one you're talking about, I'm not sure of where it is in that, but could have easily gotten better. The hardest part is when you're in the middle of that, in this kind of market, you don't expect it. And so you're sort of caught by surprise. And if you're caught by surprise and you didn't buy title insurance, you're going to regret that.
You're going to be in trouble.
Because everybody's caught by surprise.
So I had somebody say to me one time, title insurance is a big scam. I'm not going to do that. And I don't agree with that, by the way. But my response to him, and you tell me if this was right, I said, well, okay, let's just say it's a game. If it turns out after closing you need it, that is going to be a game you wish you had played.
Musical chairs, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so, okay, so now we have this builder, and let's just say it's someone in Atlanta, hypothetically, and they had some liens that were not paid off. They had some vendors or some subcontractors that were not paid off. I did a closing with O'Kelley and Sorohan. I had a loan, so I bought lender's title insurance. I got a simultaneous issue owner's title insurance, and let's just say I spent $1,200 on it. It protects me for the life of my ownership of the property or up to a certain amount of equity. What happened? So now it's 3 weeks after closing. It's a month after closing. I've gotten notifications from the people who put liens on the property, hey, you owe us the money. I'm assuming I just call O'Kelley and Sorohan and say, hey, here's these liens, big boys. You got to take care of this.
Yeah, and then we would walk you through making a claim on the property. We give a heads up to the title insurance company. I get pretty actively involved. I mean, we do so many closings.
Yeah.
That I get, no matter what, there are random claims that come through. And so I'm the one that wants to see everything to get a feel for what's going on out there. So I would take that claim. I mean, 99% of them are not real claims. Well, 95 or something. And some are, you missed a water bill or something like that. It could be anything.
What do you?
Random, but most of the time, it's what hits in the gap.
Yeah. What do you mean it's not a real claim? Are you saying an unpaid water bill is not a legitimate claim, or are you saying it's? What do you mean by not a real claim?
It's a real claim, but it's not like this giant lien or something.
It's not a $20,000. It's not a $20,000 problem, and more than likely, I would assume if in water bills in some areas are treated like taxes. I know because they're billed through the municipality, or at least I think so. I know garbage is, for example, and I would assume in that case you'd go back to the seller and and readjust the numbers and get the money from the seller. I would assume. Is that how that works?
We would.
Okay, and that would be your.
Or if there was just some mistake, and of course it always interests me. If a mistake is made, if we made a mistake,
then
we'll
you fix it.
We'll pay for it, and then we'll go back to the seller or the buyer, and they're like, "You made a mistake," and I'm like, "That's not how the law works. You can't take advantage of a mistake. What if I made the mistake the other way? You're going to let me keep your money?"
Yeah, right.
That doesn't work.
Right.
But we're very proactive, hands-on. I see these claims. I start seeing what comes through, and then we would just go. If there were any, we would sort of guide them through the process, which we have, and we'll even say, "I'll help you file a claim." And then I'll call up the title insurance company, and if there's any struggle with underwriting, the claims counsel. I go to war for this. We're providing a service, we're providing insurance, and I'll go fight for them if it's a legitimate claim.
Well, and my guess is if you don't fight for what's right, then somebody takes you to the cleaners. Meaning it doesn't take too many of them to get off track, and it causes a problem. So it makes sense. So if you're listening and you're thinking of buying a home, or you need some help with estate planning, or you got a lawsuit that might involve real estate, or maybe it doesn't, you can call O'Kelley and Sorohan, have a conversation with them, 770-497-1880. Again, one more time, 770-497-1880. If you don't remember that, just go to Go Gaddis Radio, click on Contact Us, and say, hey, connect me with Joe, and I can assure you Ann Daniels will connect you with Joe right away, and he'll be happy to shepherd you through that.
So sweet.
She'll be happy to shepherd you through that process for sure. So, in Georgia, there used to be a couple of different types of title insurance policies. First, there's owners and lenders, and then there was what I think it was just called a standard policy, and then they came out with what's called an enhanced policy. And I don't know that I've seen anything other than enhanced policies be sold in many years, but what the heck is the difference in lenders, owners, enhanced, and standard?
Lenders are standard policies.
Okay.
Basically no exceptions. Owners policies generally have no exceptions. That's not true. Standard policy will have more exceptions than an enhanced policy.
Okay.
Forgery is covered, for example, but let's say there's 4 or 5 things more that are covered in enhanced, or there's some coverage. Not many people get surveys anymore.
Right.
So there's some coverage.
That's what I was going to ask. So with a standard coverage, you'd have to have a survey. in order to make
If
any
you
kind
wanted,
of claims. Yeah. But if you had an enhanced policy and you didn't order a survey and you realized something was wrong with the property lines, you might still be able to address that in that enhanced policy. Is that right, or am I misunderstanding that?
In a standard owner's policy, essentially, whatever a survey would have shown, you're not covered for.
Okay.
So if you get the survey,
Right.
you're just seeing what you're not covered for. It
Okay.
doesn't help you
Right.
get coverage. It helps you know what you're not covered for.
Right.
Okay. So you wouldn't have gotten coverage, whatever the survey showed.
Got it.
For survey matters.
Got
Not
it.
for the title to the land, but for encroachments, your fence is over, their fence is over, et cetera.
Got it.
All right. So with an enhanced, there is some coverage.
Okay.
It's not very large, and you have to contribute. So let's say it's $25,000 in coverage. You might have to put in 7,000
Okay.
or 3,000 or some number.
But it's still
once
coverage.
Coverage is determined.
It's still
coverage
Yeah.
different. So
Yeah.
it's enhanced, and it's the pricing difference is not significant.
Yeah, and I know that I am not objective in this. I believe that people should get a lender's title insurance when required, certainly, but in Georgia, owner's title insurance is optional, and I've never bought a home without having an owner's title policy. If you want to close with O'Kelley and Sorohan, they are our preferred closing attorney. 770-497-1880 is the number. Joe, thanks for always being such a great guest. I really appreciate you coming in and just being real and discussing whatever the heck it is that our listeners want to hear about.
Well, I appreciate it. I hate it's over so soon. I was just having fun.
It happens
All right, man.
fast.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back in our neighborhood spotlight, we're featuring Terramont in Roswell. Also, should you replace your carpet or maybe give a flooring allowance? Which one of those wins? And when is the right time to sell for you? Stick with us. We've got that and more. We'll be back.